Today I'm testing out some Amazon slime and squishy kits to see if they're actually worth it. Hit subscribe and let's get started. So I ordered more slime kits from Amazon, and while I was at it, I also found a squishy kit, so I thought why not include it in this video and just have some fun opening everything up and testing it. The first package here is actually for the squishy kit, and this isn't for a normal type of squishy, this is one of the trending ones called a Tabba squishy, which are just basically silicone squishies in bags that are actually super satisfying to play with. I'm definitely more of a slime expert, so I wasn't sure what to expect with this, but this kit came with a ton of different things. It came with the bags to put the squishies in, some gloves to wear, which you'll see I forgot to, a super cute bear mold, and then a paw print mold, which actually felt really high quality, some paint in loads of different colors, along with some mixing sticks, some miniature jugs, and measuring cups. It came with these two solutions which you mix together, and then some flocking powder, which basically makes the squishy not sticky and kind of look fluffy like this one. The instructions, which are printed on the bottle, basically say to mix the two liquids together in equal amounts, so I peeled the protective seal off both of these lids and measured them out. The texture honestly reminded me of glue, and it didn't really smell of anything, which I kind of was expecting it to for some reason, especially because it's silicone. But basically you just have to pour the two liquids together and then mix them for 2 to 3 minutes. And it's not going to be ready instantly, you actually have to wait 3 to 4 hours for it to dry, so it's not really a quick process like slime is, I guess. Now once this was mixed and the liquids were combined together, I decided to divide it into 2 of the little cups it came with, so I could then use the paint and dye each one. I wanted to start off with the paw print, and instead of going for a realistic color, I decided to make the toes of the paw purple, so mix that into one of the containers with slightly less of the liquid in, and I was honestly surprised at how pigmented this paint was. I wanted to keep it more simple for the furry part of the paw and just dyed it white, and then it was time for the part that I was actually kind of nervous for. I'm pretty sure you can do these steps separately, but I wanted to get it all done at once, so I gently poured the purple into each section of the paw, and it looked so cute. Now I could have waited like I said, but I decided to go straight in very slowly with the white, really trying to make sure that the purple doesn't blend with it. Once this was done, I let it sit on the side and it was time to move on to the bear. For this one, I want to try something slightly different, so I mixed equal parts of the solution together again, mixed it up like I did the last one, and then poured it into a separate little beaker for me to then dye it. Instead of using the paint they provided, I actually wanted to make this one shiny, so I added some pigment. And when I say mixing this was beautiful, it was stunning. I was kind of concerned that the pigment might not look that shiny in it, considering once it's mixed it kind of goes opaque, but you could definitely see this, so I poured it straight into the mold. And now I also just have to let this one sit too. But I wanted to take things a step further, so I used the rest of the solution I had and poured it into a bowl, because I want to make a giant squishy. I thoroughly mixed this together and then decided to dye this red, and this makes sense in a little bit, but again I was really shocked at how pigmented this paint was, because usually paint like this is water based and it's just not very strong. Of course I wanted to make this look a little more interesting, so I added some glitter to it. I figured that if you were able to see the pigment in the liquid, then glitter would work too, and I then found the biggest mold I had, which is actually for a cake, and it's a heart mold. You see why the red makes sense now? As I was pouring this in, all I was thinking was this is going to take a while to dry out, but I was definitely interested to see how it was going to turn out. So while these are drying, let's move on to the other kits. The next kit we have is a glitter slime kit. I'd never seen this kit on Amazon before, so it might be a new brand, but I was really excited to see what it was like. It came with almost a container stuck on top of the container, with a ton of different add-ins on top. It did take me a little while to figure out how to get into this, but eventually I peeled the lid off and found something else which I was not expecting, because underneath the container of beads and glitter, there were 2 pieces of silver and gold leaf. I have mixed this into slime before, but I've never seen a slime kit actually come with it, so I was pretty impressed. Underneath the gold leaf was the actual slime, which seemed to just be a clear slime, and this was like crystal clear, and from the looks of it, it seemed to look pretty thick too. I decided that before I mix in any of the glitter and the beads, I just wanted to mix in the gold and silver foil, just because I know it's going to be really satisfying and also look really pretty on its own. One thing I love about adding this stuff to slime is that it basically just sticks to it, but creates kind of a film that you can just break through easily with your fingers. And when I say that this is one of the most satisfying things to do with slime, it's satisfying. It's almost like the slime forms a golden skin and you can poke through it, and then the more it mixes in, it kind of just looks like little flecks of glitter. This was honestly so pretty on its own, I kind of didn't want to mix the other things into it, and when I took it out the container and you could see the flecks of the gold and the silver, it just looked amazing. I actually have a ton of this gold leaf at home myself, so I'm thinking maybe I need to add it into slime more. Now this was all sparkly and mixed in, it was time to add in the other things. I have to say, I'm not entirely sure all of these things go super well together looks wise. It doesn't look bad, and it's definitely a preference thing, but I definitely think maybe just the silver and the gold I should have added. Although saying that, after I mixed it in, I did actually really think this was very pretty. And I've also not really spoken about the texture of the clear slime, and I should, because it's literally perfect. And I actually really enjoyed this kit. Okay, so this next one that we have, I had no idea what to expect either because I couldn't see inside the box until I opened it up. And when I did, I was surprised at how much stuff there was in here. There were tons of different beads, glitters, even more add-ins, along with some even pre-cut jelly cubes, sprinkles, this cool ice cream container, and 2 different pigment dyes. And also 4 clear slimes. I was really hoping I wasn't going to have to fix these because there were 4 of them. So I opened it up and the first thing that hit me was the smell. Because this smelled just like peach tea. It smelled so good. Not only did it smell good, but it also was really thick and stretchy. I feel like some of these Amazon stores are kind of upping their game on the slime, because so far everyone in this video has actually been really nice. I decided that for this kit I could only decorate them with the things that were actually included, so I opened up literally every single slime in the kit, which all smell of peach by the way. Decided to get some gloves on and start with the first slime. For this one I decided to add it into a bowl and then mix in the pink dye that was included. I did add a little splash to it, and this again was really strong, and it kind of made the slime like a ruby pink color. It was really nice. I wanted to add one of the add-ins into it. I wasn't sure, so I just stuck with the glitter because I thought that was the safe bet, and they actually paired together really nicely. I could have just left it like this, honestly, it was so pretty, but I decided to add some of the jelly cubes that were pre-cut up into it to make kind of a watermelon themed slime, because I feel like the cubes once mixed in are gonna look like watermelon chunks. I feel like the slime kits I've had in this video are quite fun because you don't really need to make the slime, you just decorate it. Now this one was done, I decided to do the next one. I wanted to keep this one more simple, so I literally just put the slime into the bowl and then added both of the packets of bingsu beads. I feel like these purple and blue ones went together so well, and it was so satisfying mixing them into the clear slime. I did kind of think that there weren't going to be enough beads into it, but it actually made a really nice kind of soft crunchy bingsu slime, and the 2 colors of beads once mixed into the slime kind of gave it an even more holographic effect. Moving on to the next one, instead of mixing it all in the bowl, I just put a little drop of dye on top, rubbed it around, then poked it so I could see the dye going into the slime, which was so satisfying. The blue dye was also really bright and had this really nice turquoise color. At first I was kind of tempted to leave it like this because I feel like you really just can't beat clear slime, but in the end I thought it needed something else, so I added the 2 packets of fishbowl beads. These were also purple and blue, and the colors all went together really nicely, and although it didn't really affect the slime that much, it added a nice kind of soft texture to it that just made the slime feel a bit more interesting. Now there were 4 containers of slime and this 1 ice cream scoop. I thought what would be really cute is just a clear slime with sprinkles in this container, so I assembled it, then actually let it sit for a little bit so that the clear slime could kind of settle, and it looked really effective. It's definitely not the most practical slime container, in fact it's almost a little annoying to get back open, but it did look really cute, and sprinkles in clear slime also look great too. Now because there were 4 slimes and I didn't use the whole one, I kind of just had half of one left, so I basically just added what was left of the kit, which were these fruit sprinkles and then the rest of the jelly cubes. This to me kind of looked like ice water with fruit in, and although it was pretty basic, it was actually very effective. And I have to say I was pretty impressed with this kit too. Okay, so now the part I was most excited for, to see if these squishies had actually worked. They were definitely solid now, and they weren't liquid, so that was a positive sign. So I literally just gently started to pry away on the edges of the silicone mold, and very carefully, making sure not to rip it, pull out the little bear. I actually couldn't believe how cute this was and how shiny it looked still. I love the kind of two-toned effect it had, and it was super squishy and soft. Once that was done, it was time to open up the paw print, which I was more nervous about, just because I kind of thought the purple might have blended with the white, but it did look pretty good with the mold, so I was hopeful. Once it was out, I could fully see it, and it looked so adorable. The purple had slightly leached into the white, but it didn't really matter, it still looked cute. And now these are done, I need to actually put them into their bags like an actual tab of squishy. But before I do that, I actually want to add some of the flocking powder to the paw one, to kind of make it look like a real fluffy paw. I poured some of the powder into a dish, and then just placed the squishy on top, and tried to cover absolutely every side of it with this. I feel like I definitely went a little bit overboard with this, because it looked super fluffy, but it's kind of cute, right? It was actually almost nicer to play with once it had this on, because it was like less sticky. But these go in a bag anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Usually these type of squishies have some beads in the bag, so I just added some of these rainbow beads and placed the paw in there with it, and we had our first one done. Considering this was my first attempt, I'm actually pretty impressed with how this turned out. It's definitely not perfect, but it's super satisfying to play with, and it looks cute too. For the bear, I'm actually not going to add the powder to it just because I like the shine of it, but I did decide to add some of these shiny beads into it just to give it a little crunch, and it looked so cute. I think for my first attempt, I didn't do too badly, but now it was time for the one that I was most nervous for, the giant one. My main concern was that it might not have dried and also that it might rip while I was pulling it out. So although this is quite sped up, I did spend a long time gently peeling it away from the mold. I actually couldn't believe how beautiful this looked because all of the glitter had sunk to the base. So one side was super glittery and the other was just plain, and I liked both. Unfortunately, the kit didn't come with a bag big enough to hold this in, but I did actually have a little Ziploc bag, so I placed it in there and just taped up the end for the time being. And there we have our giant Tabba squishy, which I actually really like. And I can't believe that this kit actually worked. Well, I had so much fun testing these kits out. It's not usually I have a video where I don't really have to fix any of them. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit subscribe. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.